Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Mindset in the Morning, and we are here live 5 days a week at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. But because this is YouTube, you can tune in whenever. And I have a different background today because I finally made it to Nashville, Tennessee, where I have two incredible interviews that are coming up today. So I am super excited. And it was so important that I made it here this morning. It has been an incredible journey. We're going to talk about it here. But Mindset in the Morning, what is this show all about? If this is your first time tuning in, it is part of the Holy Trinity of Health, which is mind, body, soul. And we know that we need to work out and stretch and exercise our bodies a few times a week, at least. We know that we need to do things for our soul or our spirit, but what are we doing for our mind? So it is ingrained in us that body and soul we need to take care of. But just as important as those are, so is the mind. And I talked about it. If you tuned in yesterday, I talked about mindset being sort of like taking a shower. It's great that you do it once, but you got to keep doing it every single day. So mind is really mental health, which we all have, which is the exact same as physical health. We all have these. We need to be taking care of them and exercising our mental muscle every single day. So boom, that's it. That's what Mindset in the Morning is all about. And it's normalizing what does life look like, and how do we apply a strong mindset to the everyday life, which can get so crazy. So speaking of crazy, I woke up this morning. I feel like I'm all bundled up. I woke up this morning and I'm like, I can't get out of bed. It's freezing in my room. And I didn't check the temperature last night. It was 61 degrees. And so when I woke up, I turned on the heat and I tried to turn off the box, which is sitting over here next to me. And I think I just now put it on fan. So it's like blowing cold air again on me. Oops. So it's super cold in here. Anyway, is what it is. So I'm all bundled up. But today we're going to be talking about gratitude. We mentioned it a little bit yesterday. And yesterday we talked about finding the good in a tragedy, and how do we navigate that? Because the truth is, we can always find some level of tragedy. Yesterday we talked about Astroworld, which happened down in Houston, Texas, and that I would say is that's a big tragedy that happens. But we have minor tragedies that are happening all the time throughout our life, whether we lose our keys, lose our mind, lose our kid. I don't know. There's always something that is going on in our life. And how do we navigate that? Because all you need to do is turn on the news and you'll see that things are crazy out in the world. They're absolutely crazy. I think, us being in our homes and with COVID, yes, there was COVID going on, but it's almost like I forgot what it's like to be in the world. And now that I'm back out in the world with people, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so insane out there. It's like weird being around people now. I just forgot how crazy they are. So how do you deal with these people every single day? So maybe it's not a tragedy, maybe it's just chaos, but how do you get your mind right when the world seems so wrong? Ooh, I like that. How do you get your mind right when the world seems wrong? So we're going to be talking about gratitude today. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but we're going to dig into gratitude today because it's such a good topic. And Thanksgiving here in the United States is coming up, and it's all about giving thanks. And this is a practice that we need to not be doing just one day a year, but every day during the year, really at all times. So there's a lot of health benefits that have been linked to gratitude. I'm going to run through a few of these really quickly. Statistics have shown that gratitude makes us happier. That's like getting free happy pills from your doctor. All you have to do is just find the gratitude. I mean, gratitude is literally the way to turn any situation around. You just look for the gratitude. Well, I'm grateful that I woke up today, right? Like that's the most extreme one. Like, well, I'm here. I'm alive. Because what's the alternate? You're not. So it makes us happier. It reduces stress. We get so stressed out about life. Life is stressful, super stressful. Now that we're all back out in the world, we're dealing with other people, they stress us out. We stress our own selves out. Finding gratitude will help combat that. It helps improve your self-esteem because you're not always focused on the negative. You're able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I have some wrinkles, but I'm grateful for them because, or whatever reasonings you come up with. It helps your self-esteem. It helps us sleep. We're not so worried about all these things in our life. We're able to be more at peace because it's a positive emotion. And getting a good night's sleep, y'all. Ooh, I had one of these last night and it just felt good. But you know the good sleeps where you don't get up to pee in the middle of the night? Yeah, that was me last night. It was so good. And probably because it was 61 degrees in my hotel room. But it was so good. Gratitude will help you stay in this level of positivity. All right. And it helps improve our friendships because we're not always nitpicking on people. We're able to find, the good in them. Shouldn't we be finding the good in people? Okay. So those are some of the benefits. Now, how do we work our way through this? All right. You know, if you've tuned into the show, my favorite thing to always ask yourself. So if you are approached with a situation, here's the first thing that I want you to ask yourself. Ready? 4 words, 1 question. Ready? Here it is. Does this serve me? Does it serve me to think this way? And then secondly, and then I'm going to give you an example here. Secondly, is this something I control? And we know that if you are trying to put your time and your attention into things that you don't control, what happens? 2 things. 1, it's wasted. It's wasted energy. There's nothing you can do about it. So you're just wasting your time. Secondly, you're going into a state of suffering, meaning you're getting anxious or that's stressing you out or you're getting angry or something is happening because you're trying to control something that you can't control. So here's a situation that happened to me yesterday. I can't remember when I got the first message. Anyway, my flight, I think it was 2 days ago, my flight to Nashville got canceled. Man, that sucks. That sucks that they canceled my flight. I had a direct flight. I was going directly from Dallas to Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, that really is a bummer. So I get this message. We're trying to reroute you. So they reroute me. I don't get in. I was supposed to get in at 11 a.m. Now I'm getting in at 9:30 p.m., which means I've lost the entire day, which means I had to reschedule my interview that I had. Oh, the whole thing. And not only that, they only had middle seats left. Ugh, screw my life. All right, let's walk through this situation. Because that's how a lot of us take situations. That's exactly how it looks. Oh, can't believe that they did this to me. Well, as I started to dig into the details, there was some weather in Dallas. So there were these planes that couldn't make it in. So then they didn't have planes to make it out the next day. So my plane got canceled. And I went through does it serve me? Does it serve me to get this emotionally charged in like stressed out, anxious, whatever? So so there was that. So first, does this serve me? Secondly, I looked at what can I control? Well, I can call the videographer and see if he's available the next day. I can call the person that I'm interviewing, or I can call the agent and say, hey, is there any way that we can push this to Friday? Those are things that I can control. I can also call the airline and say, hey, are there any other, options for me? And I started doing my own research. I was looking at routing through different cities. Could I go to Houston first thing in the morning? And I'm looking at all these different ways. Finally, at the end of the day, I said, you know what? I'm just going to take this because everybody has said Friday can work. I can make Friday work. It's okay. I'm not going to get to do my Thursday evening activity, but that's okay. Not a big deal, which, by the way, ended up plans changed on that anyway. So it was no big deal. So instead, I looked at what can I control? And you know what? I'm really grateful that we didn't do the interview when we were going to, because the weather here in Nashville was awful. Today is so much better. So the fact that we had to move it and we moved it to a day where the weather's better, that just worked out. And, I'm so grateful that I was still able to make it to Dallas because I will be on the news this morning. I'm getting interviewed by CBS, and that's just not something that happens every single day in my world anyway. So, yes, been on TV, but not all the time. So, for me to come here, it was a big deal. It was a big deal to make all this happen. I coordinated. I'm interviewing the lead singer of a rock band later on today, and I'm going to be on the news. And so I had all these things that were going on, and I really, really wanted to make it here because, the news, yes, we could reschedule maybe, but they had me slotted for today. And we've been coordinating this for months and months and months. And so it's not fair to them either. I'm sure they've got some kind of backup if need be, but I don't want to do that to them either. So net, I'm just super grateful that I'm here. I'm so glad. So it didn't matter that I missed out on the rainy day that was here in Nashville yesterday. Everything was still available today. And you know what? Yeah, they put me in the middle seat and I'm really tall, but they put me in an exit row and I had so much leg room. I could literally stretch my full leg out. The full thing, but I said it like I have one, but I put both of them out. I stretched both of my legs all the way out and I even kind of fell asleep for, 30 seconds. But it was a great plane ride. I sat next to some great people. It was no big deal. So the situation when I first talked about it had a lot of energy and it was very negatively charged. I can't believe they canceled this. Oh my gosh, am I going to make it? And all of just these things are going through my mind. And what about the interview? And what about the, both of them? And oh my gosh, are they going to change my seat? Are they going to have a middle seat for me? Oh, they put me in a middle seat. Screw them. And just a million things can run through your mind. But ask yourself, does it serve me? Literally, if you ask yourself that every single time, it is going to help you determine if you are in a place where you want to be. And you got to be honest with yourself. If you're like, yes, I want to be here. Okay, fine. Do that. If that works for you, great. I like to be more positive. And sometimes I don't know that I'm being negative. I have to ask myself that all the time. And it helps me kind of check myself. Like, is this how you really want to be? As I'm like, no, Jen, no, that's not how you want to be. So ask yourself that. Ask yourself, is this something that I control? And what are the things that I can control? What can I do about this situation to make it better than what it is? So my example yesterday was absolutely perfect for the talk today. So what are a few other things that you can do? All right, stop being so picky. Sometimes, and that's a control thing. Like it just has to be so perfect all the time. Let's give up this idea of perfect and let's just start to appreciate more. Just appreciate the things we have. So when we are so picky, things need to be perfect. I mean, that really stresses me out. I've seen people like with their weddings, I think they call them bridezillas. I don't know. But, people with their wedding and they just want everything so perfect. And when one little hair, like I was just fiddling with my hair, when one hair is out of place and they're like, ah, yeah, it's like, that sucks. It's like, supposed to be one of the happiest days of your life and you're stressed out because you have one hair out of place. Like, come on, don't be so picky. Go with it, just flow with it. It's so much better. That doesn't mean don't have high standards. It just means don't be so picky all the time. It means pick your battles. Pick your battles. Some people want this perfect life every single place around them. But nobody lives a perfect life. And quite frankly, it is stressful. It makes me anxious to think about being perfect. I would rather just aim for progress over perfection. That's me. I don't know. So one way that you can find gratitude is just stop being so picky on all the things. All right. Learn to be present. And this is an art because a lot of times we're stuck in the past. What are the things that have happened up to this point? What is that thing that she said? Oh my gosh, I can't believe she said it. And we're just replaying that dialogue in our mind. And we're thinking about the future. Okay, when I get here, when I get here, when I get here, when I get here, when I get here. And so we're missing out on, because we can't be in past, present, and future. I mean, we just can't, or we can't be in future and present and past and present. You can only really put your attention into one. Now, you may flip-flop very quickly in between all three, but you cannot be in all of these places at the same time. And the truth is, there is nothing we can do about the past. Like, done, gone, nothing we can do. And the future, we can pave the way for the future, but there are all kinds of unknowns that may happen, like COVID. Like, every project manager did not foresee COVID coming. I will tell you that. I am sure that screwed up a lot of project management plans. So as well laid out and executed as plans look, yeah, things can happen, and we just don't control those. So when we learn to be present and we are right here, it's like when I look at my cat, and I've started to really get present with her. And this may sound like I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I just love staring at her. I love seeing when she twists her little head and her whiskers go up in the air. And it is so sweet and endearing to me. And I love that. And I think, man, I'm so lucky that I have her. She brings me so much joy, and I just watch her sleep, or I watch her play with her, little candy cane that her grandma made her that has a little catnip in it, or I see her, come over to my glass and she licks the condensation off, and I think that's so cute. And when I learn to be present, it just starts to happen with your gratitude, because you see these things and how they bring value into your life. You see these things in a different way than just, oh, that's my cat. You start to appreciate it. My cat's not perfect. I gave up that first point that we talked about, which was to stop being so picky. Yeah, she's not a perfect cat, but you know what? She's a perfect cat. She is. She's a perfect cat for me. And those are the things that I focus on. So I'm focusing here and now, and I'm choosing to look at, here it is, the good. Look at the good. Remember, you already asked yourself, does this serve me? Do I, what are the things that I control? Wow, you control how you look at this. Be grateful for these things. You can find gratitude in everything. You can find gratitude in a fork. Well, I only have a fork. Oh, I don't have all the other things. Yeah, but you got a fork. Some people got nothing. You can eat with your hands. I've done it many times, because in some cultures, that's what they do. So I have learned to eat with my hands many, many a times. And so at least you got a fork. So everything, be present with it, and then look for the good in it. How is it serving and benefiting your life? And you know what? If it's something that truly doesn't benefit you whatsoever, then maybe you don't need to have that in your life. All right, what else we got? We've got 2 more minutes. All right. Surround yourself with positive people. It will rub off on you. When you are surrounded by a whole bunch of negative people, that's what you're going to hear. When you are the combination of the 5 people closest to you in your life. You are the combination of the 5 of them. I didn't make this up. So think about them. Are they positive people? Who you surround yourself with matters. So find positive people and put yourself there. All right. And yesterday we talked about this a little bit, is find the lessons. So there could be some situation that happens and you think, oh my gosh, how am I going to find the good in this? Like we talked about tragedy yesterday. How are we going to find the gratitude? When you start to look for those lessons, what can I learn from this? That's then when you start to have a gratitude mindset. So yesterday we talked about this tragedy, and I hope that out of this, that more lives will be saved in the future, because hopefully this will never happen again, because we have learned our mistakes and where we need to improve. So those are some of the things. Tons of health benefits, loads of ways to add gratitude into your life, but it's not something we need to just do on Thanksgiving or one day a year or one day a week. It is something we need to be doing all the time, asking ourselves, does this serve me to think the way that I'm thinking? Like when the airline was like, your flight's been canceled, or, okay, that's okay. Plan B. Okay, that's not gonna work. Plan C, plan D. Keep going until you've exhausted your options. but does this serve me? Focus on the things that you can control, and you can only control yourself. So just focus on you. Learn to be present. Surround yourself with positivity. There are so many things that you can do in your life every single day to find that gratitude. Being present is going to be huge. Look for the good in people. Tell your brain where it needs to go. So that's it. That's the gratitude check. So as you are going out into the world today and every day, start to look around and say, wow, I'm grateful for this fresh air. I'm grateful that the sun came up today. I'm grateful I came up with the sun today. I'm grateful for my cat, for my fork, for my life, because some people didn't wake up today. There is always something that you can be grateful for. So go forth and find it. It's everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's so much to be grateful for. All right. If you would do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because that's going to help other people hear this message, and they need to hear it today because somebody is in pain and they need to hear about gratitude. It's just a reminder, hey, we need to focus on gratitude. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and because it's the weekend, self-care. Remember to do some level of self-care, whether it's self-care Saturday, self-care Sunday, self-care 20 minutes, 12 care, 5 minutes, doesn't matter. I want you to do some level of self-care for yourself, because we need to be doing this really every day, but at least do it on the weekend. So, and I will see you back here, same time, same place. Okay. But not like here, but like YouTube here, but not on this couch here. You know what I mean? I'll see you here Monday, same time, same place. Have a great weekend. Cheers.